So I'm connected. So, okay, we have 34 seconds. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Saturday and welcome to Bettina's Buzz on SantaCruzVoice.com. We are streaming live from CTV studios right here on the first Saturday of January 2025. Can you believe I actually almost said 19? It's January 1st. 2025 here on Bettina's Buzz. And welcome. Thank you for joining me. I had to slip back in time. I've been reminiscing a lot during the beginning of this year. And one thing that's very special about the first Saturday of 2025 is my guest on the line with me from Marina is my daughter, Srna. Good morning, Srna.
Good morning, Bettina. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored.
Thank you for being with me. And it's not 19 anymore, honey. It's not 19 anything. The
No,
year
not
that
anymore. Not since I was born.
not since you were born in 19, what was it, 99?
99.
Thank you. Thank you. So, yes, welcome. And thank you for being with us here this morning, Srna.
Yes, thank you. I'm excited to be on with you again.
And a lot of exciting things are happening as this new year rolls into action. What was one of the exciting things that you shared with me this morning?
Well, one thing that was really exciting I saw this morning on X, formerly Twitter, is that Ralph Lauren is receiving the Presidential Medal of Freedom from President Biden.
And that's especially exciting to me, listeners, because he is one of my most favorite fashion designers. And I'm wearing my polo jean jacket this morning and a beautiful scarf that Srna gave me last Christmas, a gift, a beautiful Ralph Lauren scarf. And I brought in the book that she gifted me with this year entitled Ralph Lauren in His Own Fashion. It's absolutely gorgeous book. So it's just so timely that he should be honored in such a way.
Yes, it really is because we love having designer Christmases, if you will, whoever we feel like gifting each other with. And Ralph has always been a staple for us. So the fact that he's being honored on this 10th day of Christmas is really a treat.
And it's a special treat that we even just found this out a few hours ago, as you mentioned, through social media and the powers of technology. And so that's something that we could look forward to this evening to see the awards.
Yes, I believe it happened already earlier
Oh,
this
okay.
morning. And
Okay.
so, yes, it should be hopefully available to watch
That we can
soon.
watch it this evening.
Right. And he wasn't the only recipient this year as well. He was joined by Denzel Washington, Miss Anna Winter, Jane Goodall, and even Magic Johnson.
Oh, wow. What a list of prestigious people.
And there's more on that list. I got that list from the White House page. And so you can see who else received awards this morning.
Well, that's good. And tell us again how you found this information.
Well, I Googled it to double check about Ralph, and then the first link was the whitehouse.gov, and it gave me everyone else who was being honored this morning.
So that's wonderful that one of his last actions that President Biden would like to do before he leaves office is to really award some wonderful people and peacemakers in our society.
Yes, it is really nice.
Sir,
Ending out. Oh,
Sir, are
no.
you one to make resolutions?
Yes, I do like to make resolutions, things that I hope I'm going to stick with and really help better me throughout the year.
What are, give us a couple of those.
Well, I definitely want to read books more this year. I do a lot of reading on social media and reading articles, but I really want to find time to sit down and read books more like I used to when I was younger.
Yes, when you were younger, you read the Harry Potter collection and the Twilight. What were some of the other books that you liked reading?
The Hunger Games series, Divergent series, the Percy Jackson series, a lot of sci-fi, Greek mythology, uh, comedic fiction, if you will. I like a little adventure and comedy with my readings.
So, in your resolution of reading more, are there particular authors that you'd like to read?
No, not specifically. I find if I try to find a specific genre or artist, or author, I should say, I get too stuck on that and then I don't find anyone to read. So I'm just finding myself open to if the cover grabs me or if the blurb is good enough, I'm going to try to pick it up and take it home and read it.
Now, listeners, I've learned a lot. One of the joys of having, I'll say, Srna as a daughter, or I would say having a child or a younger person in your life who can keep you up to speed with different things that are happening that you might not normally care to know about. For example, Srna really opened my eyes to anime, which I never would have thought I would have liked, but Demon Slayer and Spy Family are shows and anime that I've really come to, I'll say, love. And how did you learn about Demon Slayer, Srna?
Well, Demon Slayer, for those who don't know, anime is Japanese animation. And so it's different than manga. Manga is the comic books. And then if it becomes a TV show or a movie, it's then anime. And so Demon Slayer is an anime that one of my track athletes last year, shout out to Isaiah, he just mentioned he really enjoyed. And so I decided to track it down on Crunchyroll. That's a platform to watch anime as well as Netflix. And I thought, wow, he was right. This is a really good show. And I think I was watching it one night and you passed by and you were intrigued in the Japanese. I like to listen to the Japanese audio with the subtitles. Some
Hmm.
people like to listen to it dubbed in the English form. And so you were intrigued by the Japanese
I
and the
like the
art.
Japanese, yes,
And so I do too
and
as
the
well. It
artwork,
adds to the
yes.
story. And so you sat down and I caught you up to speed and you were hooked from there.
Yes, their perseverance and their dedication to get the demons and their their friendship and their love for each other. It's a really really good stories, really good storylines, very creative.
Yes.
So you mentioned, Srna, that one of your track athletes told you about Demon Slayer. What do you mean your track athletes? Talk a little about, Srna's a track and field coach at Seaside High School on the Monterey Peninsula in Seaside, California. So, Srna, talk a little bit about being a head track coach.
Well, I've been a head track coach at Seaside High. This past season was my first year as head coach, and this upcoming season will be my second. And it's been a lot of fun. I've learned a lot every year. My first year there, I was an assistant. This actually will be my fourth year total. And I wasn't expecting to take on more of a head coach role, but as it was presented to me and the time came, it was really eye opening and learning being a coach instead of being an athlete. Because I could look back a lot of times and say, oh, that's why my coach did that, or that's why my coach said that. You get to see the different facets of the sport, things that I never thought about before, such as organizing a track meet, how many hands it takes to run a track meet smoothly so people aren't left in the dark in a corner with their flashlights trying to get marks for the long jumpers. So it's been a lot of learning of organization and getting everybody coordinated and having fun.
How do you feel, Srna, the young people are? I mean, you're not that much older than they are. How do you feel that they respond to having a coach that isn't much older than they are and have competed not that long ago at the level that you're working to get them to strive to?
I think they enjoy it. I think they're are times that I have to really make sure I have my coach hat on because I am very close in age with them, and comparatively, I might even sometimes look like a high schooler, I've been told, but it's really great to see how they're open to ask me certain questions that maybe they wouldn't feel comfortable asking if maybe I was 10, 20 years older than I am. Who knows? But I think they enjoy it. I think I try to keep a fun balance of coach, but keeping it light, keeping it fun since I am close to their age. I want to be realistic for them and open so that they can ask me as many questions as they can. I don't always know the answers, but I work with a lot of other great coaches. Shout out to Ty Shalik and Ruth and coaches I've worked with in the past, Mariah and Rudy and our athletic director, Steve. So we're a really great network there at Seaside, and we just try to make sure our athletes have everything that they can need.
And you yourself, Srna, of course, a Seaside High alumni, a graduate, and I, as listeners know, too, am a Seaside High alumni. So I'm extremely proud that not only my daughter went to Seaside High, but was asked to come back and coach there. She, if I may say, Srna was a and still is a fantastic athlete, an amazing sprinter, well decorated, and has plenty of medals that her mother has collected for her. So it's just very wonderful, daughter, to see you back there doing what you love and helping to inspire that passion and other athletes. And of course, as you even mentioned, learning from them as well.
Yes, it's a lot of fun, and it's also nice to see the growth of the sport at Seaside High School. Track and field has always been integral at the school, but definitely in the last 3.5 years since the school has now all-weather track. For a very long time, it was a dirt track when I was still running there. If we ever somehow were scheduled to have a track meet, we were pulling out the old blocks and taking shot puts, and we were nailing them down into the track because that's the only way that the blocks would stay. And now the kids have nice blocks, and they don't slide under you, and you don't have to use chalk to set up the lines or spray paint. So it's nice to see the evolution. I can kind of have those fun moments. Well, in my day, we had dirt, so I don't want to hear the complaints when it's raining and you're not all muddy. So it is a lot of fun to kind of give them a taste of what was. Because with the pandemic, especially, a lot of these kids weren't going out to see any of these changes or were around this area to know the difference. They just see a track. But to me, I never thought I'd ever see that track down at Seaside High School. So it's a lot of fun to see the evolution of the school and the sport there.
Yes, it really is. And it's wonderful to be able to go to track and field events at Seaside High at that beautiful track, and to look over as you're driving Highway 1 into the peninsula and look over at and see Seaside High, or as Srna used to call it, CC High when she was little. I thought that was so cute. Used to call it CC High. I'd look over and go, there's Seaside High. But it's a wonderful high school, and we're very glad to be affiliated and Spartan alumni. So, Srna, as we move into this more and more into this new year, into 2025,
Yes.
you know, when you were born, I'll take you back, our president, we had a Democrat in the office. We had President Clinton.
Yeah, we did.
Yes, and I voted for Clinton, I'll say, and I know, I can't remember exactly how now, but I was planning to go to graduate school at the Academy of Art College in San Francisco, and President Clinton made it somehow easier, I do believe that, because that was one of my ways it sparked my interest to go back to school and work on my master's, so that was a good thing. Srna, how do you feel about our upcoming or newly elected president?
Um,
Hey, you know what? Let's take a break right now.
that sounds great.
That sounds good. We'll be right back here on Bettina's Buzz, SantaCruzVoice.com.
Experience the extraordinary. Travel with Shen Yun to discover 5,000 years of wisdom, beauty, drama, and humor live on stage. You're not just watching a performance. You are witnessing a culture reborn. Coming to San Francisco, San Jose, and Berkeley, starting on December 26th. Shenyun.com/CA. SHENYUN.com/CA.
Attention, Santa Cruz Voice listeners. This week, Shenyun Performing Arts takes the stage with a never-before-seen performance of soul-stirring music and breathtaking classical Chinese dance. Do not miss this chance to experience the beauty of China before communism, its legends, its traditions, its divine inspiration. Get tickets today at shenyun.com/CA. Santa Cruz Voice listeners use promo code SCV to get all ticketing fees waived. shenyun.com/CA, promo SCV.
The Hook is California's first ever cannabis outlet. 100% locally owned and operated, we're here to be your friendly neighborhood hookup. We believe that everyone should have access to fairly priced cannabis, so we work hard to get it to you for 30 to 50% less than the other guys. If you're 21 or older with a valid ID, visit us in Capitola or in Watsonville today. We're here to be your friendly neighborhood hookup. Check out our website, hookoutlet.com, for deals and stay groovy.
If you are not afraid to voice your stories to the world, attend the Podcast to Broadcast workshops hosted by Santa Cruz Voice and Community Television during Tuesday evenings in January. Learn how to produce, record, process, distribute, and market your own podcast or streaming broadcast. For information, email your contacts to info@santacruzvoice.com. That's info@santacruzvoice.com. Be heard.
Thank you for listening to Bettina's Buzz here on santacruzvoice.com. Always a pleasure to be with you. I always look forward to Saturdays, leaving Marina and coming into Santa Cruz. And this Saturday morning, I was especially happy to have my guest with me, my amazing daughter, Srna McBee. She's on the line with me. Hi, Srna.
Hi, Miss Bettina. It's great to be with you this morning.
Thank you for starting
2025.
Yeah, thanks for starting 2025 with me. As I work to gather guests, I put out calls to lots of people, and especially holiday time, and people answered me back, yes, but how about February? How about March? And then I turned to Srna, who's been a guest and has a very interesting life, I must say. And I said, would you be my first guest? And she said yes. So here we are together communicating over there. Isn't that great?
I have a question for you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, if you don't mind, I wondered if you have any resolutions for yourself this year.
Oh, resolutions. Well, I want to continue to be the best wonderful streaming talk host I can be. How's that? I want to be wonderful, if that can be said. And I like finding interesting people, so I want to continue to do that. I look forward to doing that even more in 2025 and getting out in the
realistic to me.
Yeah, sounds just keeping it very realistic, and watch as many Keanu Reeves movies as I can, rewatch as we've been doing, getting through John Wick 4. I mean, they are holiday movies, right? And Susan, we want to give a shout out to Susan here at santacruzvoice.com, because during my Christmas party, she said her favorite Christmas movie was Die Hard with Bruce Willis. And actually, I thought she was kidding, but we watched it, didn't we, Srna?
Yeah, we did.
And
I think, it's a Christmas movie.
It counts as a Christmas movie. I did see a Christmas tree in the background a couple times, so pretty much
it was Christmas Eve. Yeah, so that was really fun to find out that Die Hard was actually a holiday movie. Because shout out to Miss Susan. I did not know that. I just knew it was Bruce Willis. That's all I knew for sure.
Yeah, and it was fun to watch because we like Bruce Willis. We like and his voiceover work is really great. So we like Bruce very much. And Pulp Fiction, of course, is a classic. So, Srna, what is one of your favorite holiday movies?
Oh, well, a classic holiday movie for us, of course, is It's a Wonderful Life. that's always great to watch and can pretty much have on at any time during the holiday season, as well as The Preacher's Wife with Whitney Houston,
And
Denzel
Denzel.
Washington, yes, and Courtney B. Vance. That's a great one. Those two I can have on this whole season. I think we need to finish Preacher's Wife, actually. We haven't quite finished it, even though we know it by heart. But those two are always great. And then this year, watching things I hadn't seen before was fun, like Die Hard. And I watched a couple seconds of National Lampoon. I
A
think
couple of seconds.
a couple, yeah, just
Yes.
different things. Just
Because that was
yeah,
recommended as a holiday
yeah,
film.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I
so
laughed.
and we were talking about Ralph Lauren being honored. Well, he was actually honored earlier today, you said, but
Yes,
we'll hope to find some footage of it online to see him getting honored. The first
yes,
fashion,
and what he was wearing.
oh yes, because he's always in his own fashion, had his own style. And listeners, any designer, this is also the magical thing about technology. If you're interested in a designer, Ralph Lauren, for example, you can, as you know, Google or go to YouTube and you can see his fashion shows, and you can see from years past or documentaries about Ralph, which I've learned many things about him, and a lot or most of his fashion was inspired by the love of his life, his wife, and her natural, earthy, down-to-earth, Western, no makeup style that he fell in love with and incorporated that into his own fashion. So it's just very interesting the things we can learn.
Yes, it really is. And even if you've already been a fan of someone's work, whether it's fashion or music or their writing, and then you decide to learn a little more about them, and then you can just delve into this rabbit hole of great information about them, and you become even more interested in someone, hopefully, that you already really enjoy.
And even in speaking about fashion, we have many wonderful fashion designers, wearable artists right here in Santa Cruz. IB Bio
Yes, we
being
do.
one of them whom we love modeling his fashions, don't we, Srna?
Yes, his clothes and his coats are high couture at their best, and they just feel so good when you put them on. That's the best thing about any designer's clothing, but truly about Bio's clothes. You put them on and you feel good. They demand that you walk tall, and you walk because you have to in the clothes that he makes.
Because you will be noticed.
You will be noticed. Someone is going to ask you who, where, and how can I get it. So the clothes demand that you walk and have that sense of attitude.
And even in our favorite memories of holiday time, Srna and I were again talking about the time we went to the premiere showing of The Matrix Resurrection in San Francisco at the Castro.
Yeah, that was very surreal, actually, the way everything just fell into place and timing, and it was so much fun. I had never been to a movie premiere before,
Neither had I. That was
right?
a first.
And then also on a green carpet. We were on the green carpet, and they had an inflatable red pill right outside where the actors and the directors, when they were taking their photos, it was the red pill, the blue pill. You had your options right outside the theater, and everyone at the Castro was so nice and hospitable. The ushers were great. They led us right down to our seats. We had great seats. That was a great, great time.
And another thing that was great about it was Srna had the great idea, because we wanted to wear something that would help us stand out, of course, in the crowd. So
Of course.
Srna said, let's call Bio and see if he'll let us wear a coat. And he said yes. And that was magical because we were noticed because of Bio's coats.
Yes, we were. Our
We,
coats helped us get in right where we needed
we
to
got
go. And
cuts in line. We were noticed. That was during the height of COVID. And
yeah, it was 2021, December
right.
22nd,
And
2021.
those coats got us magical passage.
They did.
I think they
They
thought
did.
we were part of the cast. That was our goal.
That
But
was our goal, and if they thought so, that was great because we were thankfully able to be there when they were shooting on the streets of San Francisco
Yes, we
during
were.
February of 2020, that year before. We love frequenting to our city, San Francisco, and we heard they were filming the ice cream project
The
of
ice cream
The
project.
Matrix, and we said, it's the holiday season anyway. It's perfect time to go up to the city, and we went and we got to see some great shots and
Yeah,
set up,
it was
and it
great
was a great
because first
time.
we applied to be extras,
We did, yes,
and
through
we went
Dwyer
through,
Costume.
yes, and we didn't get the call back. So it was kind of like, well, Srna was born in San Francisco. I lived in San Francisco, so we decided, well, we can still go. We They didn't say we couldn't be there, so we were there and we had a great time.
We
We were
did,
very
and we
close to the
realized
filming, and they let us stay there and watch because we weren't intrusive at all, and we had a good time.
We did, and we realized it was probably better, the deal we had, going up and being free to go to the city and be there on our own volition, than if we were extras. We would have been excited, but probably exhausted. Those were very early call times
And
for
we would have
the
had to stay
shots.
in certain places. We were free to
Right.
roam and move with where it seemed like the action was going. And
And what
um,
was even really exciting about that is we were talking to a really nice lady right across from one of the shooting locations when they're in a cafe, Neo and Trinity. And we were talking to her, and up comes Chaz Stileski, the director of John Wicks, and
mhm.
also he was in Matrix. And she asked for a picture, and she looked towards you and me. And so, Mom, you kind of staged the photo, and I took the photo. And so we had a moment with director Chad Stileski as well. So that was really cool on the streets of San Francisco.
Yeah, the streets of San Francisco, a lot of exciting things happened. And then,
Yeah,
yes, speaking of meeting directors, when we saw the premiere of Matrix Resurrection, we got to speak to Lana. And that
we
was,
did.
she appreciated that. We told her what a great film it was, and we could tell she appreciated that
She
very
did.
much. She was
She
very
did.
nice, very nice.
Yes, very humble. Her energy, just when we gave her compliments, she had her hands to her chest and she was bowing towards us. It was a great moment to be able to give that compliment
Yes,
to
and the
her.
whole premiere and Keanu and company, Lana, the cast up on stage and talking about the film. We have great footage of that night, so that was a lot of fun. So
Was.
shout out to movie premieres and goals, and because that was a goal of ours to be involved with that filming, and we were in many ways, so that's great.
Yeah.
And then we went and saw Wicked recently. How did you like Wicked, Srna?
Wow, Wicked was great because with all of the publicity and the ads for it, I almost wasn't sure if I wanted to see it. I thought, wow, a lot of promotion for Wicked. Is it going to be good? I was worried if they were worried. And finally, with all the back and forth, we decided to get our tickets and go. And now I can't wait for Wicked Part 2 in a year, and I can't wait till part one comes out on DVD so that we can watch it again. If you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth the
It's worth
watch.
seeing. I was sold within 5 minutes with the singing and dancing. Within 5 minutes, I was sold. And I'm not an easy sell, I don't think, but it's totally enjoyable. And it gives us a new look on Alphaba. And I love her.
Yes, we should all love Alphabet and be
Yes.
side eyeing Glinda, and that's as many. If you don't know the story by now, that's as much of a spoiler as I'll give. But great direction, great acting. Of course, both actresses have great vocal talents. Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, they did the parts very well.
And great fashion design in the film.
Yes, great costume design, great hair and makeup. It was great to see all the time and attention to detail that was put into the film. It was truly, truly worth the watch, and especially from someone who started off very skeptical, and someone who did see the play, and it was great to see Miss Patty Duke on stage performing in Wicked. So I had high standards for someone who does like plays and Broadway productions. They did a great job on film.
And that was a wonderful play, wasn't it? We've seen a number of plays and seen plays in the city. That's right, Wicked
We have.
is one of them.
Theater has been a part of our holiday traditions,
Yes.
more so on holidays past than of recent, but going to good productions in San Francisco or locally here on the Monterey Peninsula, Santa Catalina puts on great productions throughout the years, but especially the holiday times, they have great shows. So we would do that.
And this
often.
area is rich with that type of entertainment. And if it's something that you enjoy, and even, as I like to say, you might not even know if you enjoy something until you go, and you could gain a whole new perspective, like ice hockey. I didn't
Yes.
think I would like that until I went to a game and really started watching them play. It gives you a whole new perspective.
It does. I think live sports gives everybody a different perspective, even in that way, because live hockey is quite an experience. The sound of their skates on the ice, and when the puck hits the sweet spot of their stick right on the
Hmm.
blade, it's truly great sounds. And like a lot of sports, but the unanimous cheer of a
Yeah,
score or
the
reaction,
collective
yes.
roar of, yeah, that there's
The
nothing better.
collective.
The
Yes, the
collective.
collective joys or being upset at the ref, just the collective emotions. And you can look left and right and we're all feeling the same thing or not feeling the same thing and confused. It's great live sports
Like
altogether.
last year's Super Bowl, the
Oh
confused,
my gosh,
dazed,
the
and confused.
confused, dazed and confused, the stunned, the timings, the things that can happen in a second. That's another thing for track and field athletes, as well as seconds and measures and inches and things. All those things matter. They all add up. That's why they say the 2 minute warning in football, that's the longest 2 minutes of the game, because so much can happen, good, bad, or indifferent.
Good, bad, or indifferent. We're going to take a quick break now, Srna, and we're going to
Okay.
be right back. You're listening to Bettina's Buzz here on SantaCruzVoice.com. My guest is Bettina's daughter, Srna McBee. My guest is Srna McBee. I'm going to slow down. I'm very thrilled to have her with me, and we're going to be right back here on SantaCruzVoice.com.
Hi, folks. I've been tarred and feathered, run over by a lettuce truck, snake bit, stepped on, yelled at, hung out to dry. My truck has noises. Life can't get any worse, but I know I can get one of my things fixed, and that's my roof. I'll call Knox Roofing. I know Knox Roofing's been around longer than my ex-wife. Thanks for listening. Call Knox Roofing. You won't be disappointed. The number to call is 461-0634. Thanks, folks.
Has the holiday bustle got you searching for a peaceful place to work? Look no further than Satellite Santa Cruz, your holiday hideaway. Reserve a desk, office, or conference room. Enjoy free Wi-Fi, parking, coffee, and snacks. Give us a call today at 831-531-2300. Mention Santa Cruz Voice and enjoy a free day pass on us. Your holiday haven awaits.
When you need help managing your estate, call on the Angel.
Hello, I am attorney Angel Hess, and I am ready to help. Whether you need a will or a trust, a guardianship or a conservatorship, or if you are managing the financial affairs of a loved one, I will help you with over 7 years' experience working in estate planning and probate fields.
When you need help, call on the Angel, attorney Angel L. Hess at santacruzlegal.net.
Cannabis is one of nature's most beneficial plants. Hello, I'm Jenna. Treehouse Dispensary, we use information about cannabis to build community. Listen to Carly.
For those who would like a cannabis flower that stimulates your creativity and makes you feel happy, Treehouse suggests the sativa varietal Banjo from the local growers at Coastal Sun.
For answers to your cannabis questions, ask your friends at Treehouse Dispensary, 3651 Soquel Drive in Soquel, or ourtreehouse.io.
You're listening to Bettina's Buzz here on SantaCruzVoice.com, and with me, my special guest this first Saturday in 2025 is my daughter, Srna. Hi, Srna.
Hi, Bettina. Great to be with you this morning.
Great to have you with me. And we were just talking about football, so let's talk about
Yes.
flag football.
Ooh, okay.
So last year was your first year of coaching flag football for girls at Seaside High?
Yes, this past October. Yes, the first ever official flag football team at Seaside High School. Many high schools in the area have had Powder Puff League for girls to play football, but none of those leagues usually amounted to actually having one-on-one games and truly having competitions in uniform. So this year at Seaside High School was our first year having a girls flag football team. And during the fall season, they were actually the team with the most wins on campus throughout the fall. So they were very proud of themselves.
As well, they should be, and so should the coach. And how did you like coaching flag football?
Definitely more than track and field. I learned a lot, not only from the athletes, but my fellow coach, Steve Vasquez. He was very organized with giving me plays and directions and teaching me the best way to teach the girls. So that was definitely a learning curve. I did play flag football when I was in middle school for all 3 years, sixth, seventh, and eighth grade. So it was such a fun sport if
And
I
where did
had
you
it in high
play?
school.
At
I
the
played at the International
Mhm.
School of Monterey at the top of the hill in Seaside on Yosemite Street. Shout out to Mr. Robbie, Coach Robbie, great coach, also one of my first track coaches. So lots of great athletic influence at that school. But definitely from middle school, going from ISM to Seaside High School, if a team was established, I would have been playing all 4 years. So it was fun to be around at the school during a time where someone could say, hey, would you be interested in coaching girls flag football? And I could be a part of that.
And you're part of a pioneer in a program that's new to this school. And how do you feel the girls reacted to flag football?
The girls had a lot of fun. There was a mix of girls who knew a lot about football and had played with each other, their family members. There were some girls who knew nothing about football, but the fact that it was a new sport on campus, that was intriguing enough for them to come down. And there was a lot of girls that when you see people come down, you're never sure who's going to stick it out throughout the season. You have some people who you figure are going to stick through, and then there's always a couple of athletes that really surprise you as they start enjoying the game more, picking up the rules of the sport. There were definitely a few times out on the field they got a couple penalties, but it was always about learning when not to move, where to stand. You're being too close, too far. It can be frustrating, but they took it all with grace. And throughout their competition, they sometimes faced girls who had been playing for a couple of years at different schools that have had programs a little longer, like Palma and Carmel, even though Palma now just became co-ed. A lot of their girls from Notre Dame High School had been playing before. So they had a lot of learning to do themselves on the field, but they handled it all with grace and they came out with quite a few wins.
What do you think is a good quality of a coach? Or maybe I should say, what quality or qualities, since you've been coaching for a while now, Srna, do you feel are important to have as a coach?
I think it's important to have good structure and already have a plan for what you want to maybe say have your practice, for instance, look like, but also be open and flexible to the fact that in this case you're working with young kids slash young adults. You have a mix of some of them are 13, 14 freshmen just getting into high school, and some of them are juniors, seniors, and their eyes are opening up to soon be in the real world. So you just have to be open to being flexible and hearing your athletes out, but also having that structure and letting them know that when they come down to the field, you have an expectation. There's a routine to how things go. And if after a while you don't feel like doing that, you don't have to do it. That's the beauty of extracurricular sports. So I think that's really important for them to know that they can come and have a fun time, but sports has a structure and a discipline. And if you're not willing to show that, you're going to end up getting hurt. is the biggest thing. We don't want you to get injured, especially if you're not having fun. So come and listen to your instruction and have as much fun with it as you can.
How many athletes did you have on your team last season, roughly?
For flag football this past season, how many girls did we have?
Mm-hmm.
For flag football, we finished with about 30 girls.
You finished with 30.
We started with
That's a lot.
That is a lot. We actually continued to get more girls as the season progressed. We started off with probably about 20 girls, and here and there we lost girls to maybe another sport came up or they just weren't able to complete the season. Life happens. But as the girls started gaining traction and it became more popular, there would be girls that would come down and say, hey, is it too late to join the team? So actually towards our last game, we had about 3 girls trying to get playtime in who had never played before, but they just wanted to get on the field that last game to say they had some play. So that was fun to see.
That's good. So do you think you rely more on just the word of mouth of other students to encourage students to come down and try either track or now the flag football? Or do you also, as a coach, try to find ways to encourage students to come down and participate?
Well, for me, since I'm an off-site coach, I don't work on the campus with the students, so I don't have an interaction with them throughout the day. So I do rely on the athletes to bring a friend down to practice, spread the word. My fellow coaches, they do work on campus. So we talk about ways that we can motivate athletes to come down and just try the sport. I think sometimes people get intimidated if they haven't tried something before or they see their friends have gained some experience and they don't want to be that person who maybe doesn't know what's going on. But it's always just a good thing to remind them that everybody came to practice for the first time at one point and just come on down and see what happens.
Yeah, maybe there could literally be a bring a friend day or something. So
right. That's a good idea.
Is it? Good. Well, but then everybody would know that there is literally a day where there's people that have never done it before.
Right, because I mean, my athletes are all snack motivated. I could have a bring a friend day and you get a specific snack. I'd probably have 50 kids.
They sound like Murray, our dog Murray. Bring a snack and
a snack. I'll have the whole campus down there.
And it's nice because Srna, it was wonderful. She has football players who also run track. So as soon as football season is over, they're already geared up and looking forward to track season and contacting Coach Srna and asking about track season. So that's good because you're already getting started.
Right. I try to give them maybe a week or two off from football, all that contact physicality. I know they're pretty sore, but then if I'm not working with them literally on the track, I give them some suggestions of workouts and get them started and they're ready to go. And they know that the road to running as fast as you can in the spring, it all happens now in the fall and the winter. How hard you can push yourself during conditioning, that all shows up in 6 months at the line when you're leaning forward or you're in the shot put ring and you're down low and you're ready to let the shot fly. It all comes down to what you did about 6 months before. So this is the time to put in that hard work.
That's true. And as we know, the hard work pays off. But one thing, too, that Srna and I enjoy is, especially this season, we've watched a lot of football, just all the teams, just to watch the sport itself. And you can really tell who runs track.
Yes, you can. It's fun for me.
You can really tell who's a sprinter, who's a hurdler, and who's been taking ballet.
Who's been stretching.
Who's been stretching, yes.
I'm not a football player, but a huge aspect of track and field, flexibility equals strength. You can only be as strong as your muscles can go. And so a lot about track and field is getting that flexibility in. I'm always laughing a little bit at the football players and even the basketball players that I have when they come down. Everybody's pretty stiff. And so it's a lot of stretching things out, releasing tension, because constant running and weightlifting and repetitions for your field events, that'll get to you quickly. So if you're not doing preventative and active stretching, it's going to be really hard to perform at your best.
And even as you mentioned quite often in football, in the 2-minute warning, and how so much, quite often it seems like they're putting so much effort in the last 2 minutes when they've had the whole game. But
Right, where was that energy the whole time?
right, but even as you in track, for example, especially someone viewing more than a actual sprinter or a runner, as I can say, time and beating the clock and how much time is left and is such an integral part of the sport of track, that
Yes.
you can really see how, yes, those last 2 minutes and how something can be accomplished in such little time if the focus is there.
Yes, 2 minutes is an eternity. I mean, a second is a long time. I think for many people who don't watch track and field or know the aspect of the sport, someone might look at a time of a race and say, well, he ran a 100-meter race in 9.6 seconds, and he ran a 100-meter race in 10.6 seconds. And both those times are still fast, but that 1 second is quite the difference, because that 10.6 will not be running in a race anytime soon with that 9.6 until they shave off a second or more to catch up with that. Because in between that 9.6 and 10.6, there's probably about 20 other names that are broken down by milliseconds.
And
And
that is
that's the difference.
and that is what's amazing. The exactly thing that broken down into milliseconds of time, and it's just mind-boggling, really, that there can even be that much of a closeness between two people, that it could be measured in such a way.
Yes, and even as an athlete, sometimes you, in your own field or your own league, you're running your fastest and you feel really great about your time. And then you might look at the overall scores and think, well, wait, who's this phantom person who's right behind me or right ahead of me? Because there's always someone that's ahead of you. Whether they're on the track with you or not, the time is still the time. So that's another reminder I have for my athletes, whether they're track athletes and or field athletes, that the marks that you get wherever you are, if it's an official track meet, that's all that matters. If there's a pole vault pit and you want to clear 11 feet today, that's the goal. If you want a long jump today and your goal is 19 feet, that's the goal. We're not going to make excuses for the runway or the way that the pit looks. We're going to do it because we've been practicing to do it. So it's all about setting your goals and intentions and knowing that even if you're the only competitor there that day, your competition is out there somewhere competing too, trying to get those marks, those times.
Do you feel, Srna, as a young woman, as a female coaching, how has it been welcoming? Do you feel that it's been an advantage? Because as you mentioned, you have Ruth and Taishalik, you have other women working with you, as well as Steve and men that are there, that help you. But do you feel that it's welcoming for a woman to be a coach?
I do. And also in ways it's interesting, when I go to these coaches meetings, I realize how small of a group we are. I never thought about it really until I became a coach, that I've never had a female head coach myself. All my head coaches have been men until I was in college, and the coaching staff also had a distance coach who was a woman, Coach Page, and our jump coach, Coach Nina. But I was not a distance runner and I was not a jumper. So directly, they did not usually work with me, but I had them on staff, which was nice. So I haven't found any problems with it. It's been very welcoming. Like you mentioned, Steve, he's a coach as well as our athletic director, and he was always very supportive, even for not only being a woman, but a young woman. When I was first offered the position as head coach, I was technically too young. I was 24, and in the technicalities, you have to at least be 25, at least for the Monterey Peninsula Unified School District, to be a head coach. So my first year of being a head coach, I was a co-head coach with Rudy Dominguez, who also did our pole vaulting. So, but he was very supportive of me still having that role, not saying, well, she can wait a year and be an assistant, and then if she wants to be a head coach, he was still open to having me have that title. So it's very open and welcoming. And I think for other coaches to see that, yes, there are female athletes and coaches who are head coaches as well. So it is a fun field to be in.
And then you worked prior to working with Seaside High, you worked with maneuvers.
Yes, yes, maneuver athletics, club track team here on the Monterey Peninsula. They practice at a few different campuses. I believe they're practicing at the Monterey Peninsula College track at the moment. And that was a very fun experience. I had never seen track and field at the level of the amount of children for a youth level. That was quite fun to see 6 and 7 year olds being taken just as seriously as Olympians.
Very
At
serious.
the line,
And those little Nikes.
bibs. Somehow parents, they don't really make official spikes as in Nike and Adidas and Puma. As far as I know, they don't make youth spikes for that size feet, but somehow there's parents who have found spikes on Amazon. And I think that was truly the cutest thing to see spikes that are that small. For feet, that was something I didn't think existed. So that was really cute. And so to see track at that level and to see that here in this area of the Central Coast, track isn't talked about as much. But if you go about a couple hours north or, of course, down south, it's as big as ever. And that is heartwarming for someone who loves track and doesn't always get the attention that it deserves.
It is that one time I went to a maneuver meet a couple, 3 years ago, whatever, and there were hundreds and hundreds of people. So many people in their tents and so many children, so many beautiful children out there competing and so serious, children of all ages. It was quite wonderful. And it's been wonderful to be along for the ride and hear, Srna, your stories of young people advancing in the sport, and be it the flag football or the track and field, whatever event they plan to take part in, but just hearing the stories of young people growing and excelling and seeing themselves do something that maybe they didn't know they could even do.
Right. That is a lot of fun. That's always been great. It's especially, I think, for me last year, there was a couple specifics. Our freshman Lydia, she was able to make it to the CCS, that Central Coast section, semifinals as a freshman. That's pretty rare, especially for the 100. Again, the 100 meter is a very tight, fast race. So everybody wants to run it. And then the people who do run it are very fast. So when she qualified, she was so excited. That was so fun to see, as well as Juan, another freshman we had, when he cleared 11 feet in the pole vault. And he was the only freshman to be competing at the pole vault at Gilroy High School for the Central Coast Sectional. So those were really fun moments last year.
Well, it sounds like you have a lot to look forward to in your coaching endeavors in 2025.
Yes, it's going to be a really fun year. They're already asking me so many questions, so it's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be a great year at Seaside High. Go Spartans, go Spartans. Well, Srna, we've got about 2 minutes. Is there anything you would like to say before we leave?
Our longest 2 minutes of the show. Well, I want to say again, thank you for having me as your guest on Bettina's Buzz. I'm very honored to be your first guest of 2025, and I'm excited to see all the things that you do and the guests that you have on your show and the places that it takes you. And I want to remind viewers that Miss Bettina's had a lot of great shows, and if you want to catch up on them, you can Google Bettina's Buzz on Podbean. That's PODBEAN.com. And you can catch up on a few of her episodes. She's got a lot of great content on there.
Well, thank you very much. And I'm trying to put more content. And yes, it's been a great ride here on SantaCruzVoice.com. And I hope to continue to have great guests. And I appreciate everybody who listens. A special shout out to Gloria McBee, my precious mother. Thank you for always listening. It just always makes me feel so great to know that you're listening. And thank you, Srna, again for being a guest. You're always my right hand in helping me prepare for my show. So it's extra special that you take the time to be a guest. So you can go back out now and feed the birds and enjoy our beautiful backyard. And I'll see you in about an hour or so after I do some shopping in Santa Cruz.
That sounds great.
And we'll continue to count down the 12 days of Christmas. We have a couple more left. So again, thank you very much, everyone, for listening to Bettina's Buzz. I look forward to being with you next Saturday. I'll be here at 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. next Saturday. And a special shout out to Mr. Bill Wolverton. Thank you very much for being there for me this morning when I had a little technical question. I hope you feel better soon, Bill. Have a great day. Michael Jacoby's coming up next. Bye-bye. Enjoy.